All right, this week's episode, assuming that I had already retired my Leica man in Vietnam, I ran into a little issue with my my M10. My infinity focus was a little off. So instead of sticking it in a DHL package and sending it off to Germany to get repaired in about 3 months or 6 months or who knows how long, I decided to do it myself. So that's what we're going to do this week. I'm going to do a little calibration adjustment to my my M10, and I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. And well, maybe it'll be a little do-it-yourself little project at home for anybody who has an M10 or a M240 or an M9 or an M8, whatever. How to go about calibrating your rangefinder. For infinity focus and close distance focusing and whatnot. So it may seem pretty daunting, may seem kind of scary, but it's not really. So buckle up and let's go take a look at that.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. All right, this week's episode, we are kind of reviving Leica Man in Vietnam. Why is that? You figured I'd already talked my way through the subject, through the topic, but through some photo taking here and there with my M10, I noticed that my infinity focus was a little off. And I suspected perhaps it was the lens, so I tested it with a couple other lenses, and lo and behold, they too were a little off. So I kind of did a little research into what do we do about such things, and rangefinders are a bit of a finicky thing anyway. It's a mechanical device. It's not like your SLR or DSLR where you look through the lens and you use the basically onboard computer to get your focus right and everything else. So it doesn't matter about calibration or anything. But with a rangefinder, it's a mechanical device, and therefore, with anything mechanical, the slightest little part that's not quite working the way it should be, and the whole thing is off. So, my options are to send it back to Leica in Wetzlar, Germany, and wait 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 months, who knows how long, with today's current situation with the COVID-19 and whatnot, and shipping and logistics all around the world are a little jacked up at the time. So, now what? I do a lot of things myself. This is modesty photography, all about saving you money, saving you time and effort, and hey, little photo tip here and there. So why not? Let's do it ourselves. And again, it may be a daunting task to calibrate your your $6,000 or $7,000 camera, but hey, if it's just a little adjustment here and there, you may have done it wrong, but readjust it again until you finally get it right. The time is yours. So with that said, before I get into this, I also want to bring that to your attention too, that just because I'm advising that you could try this yourself at home, don't blame me if you go screwing up your camera, because I have no idea how you're going to do what you're doing by following my advice. But again, it's your responsibility. You're an adult, because I don't make videos for kids. So you're an adult to take responsibility for your own actions. So anyway, with that legal mumbo jumbo out of the way, don't be coming to Vietnam to sue Dr. Scott about, oh, he said I could do this and now my camera's all whacked out. But anyway, so my M10 here, taking photos, of my son. If you've been watching my channel, you see I take a lot of pictures of Dylan. He's a cute little 10-month-old and makes the greatest little gestures and faces and whatnot. So he's fun to photograph. But with my with my 35 Summilux, this is like one of the most perfect 35 millimeter lenses that you could ever find. So it doesn't really matter how close or how far or anything, it seems to work just fine. But when I put on my my 50 millimeter Summilux, I noticed that some of the photos, even though the rangefinder was telling me I was in focus, my live view was telling me I was in focus, but yet it was still coming out a little fuzzy. So I checked my infinity focus, and sure enough, it too was a little fuzzy. So, what it comes down to is, turn this upside down. And of course you're not going to be able to see this from here. Well, let me move a little closer to show you then, if you can't see it from here. Basically, right in here, let me focus in on that. Right here is this little wheel, if you see, or disc. That is the rangefinder disc here. And when you're focusing your lens, it moves in and out inside here, and it pushes on this. And as it pushes on that, it changes this window and this window. There's a little rectangle inside that overlap each other, and they tell you whether you're in focus or not. And this little baby right here is the one that needs a little bit of adjusting to get that infinity focus back on track, so to speak. So anyway, that's in a nutshell, that's kind of where what I'm going to be talking about, how to adjust on your rangefinder, your Leica, if you're using one. Now, there's two different parts in here, and I'll show you, because I don't want to obviously spend the video up in front of the camera that close. I'm going to post some photos of close-ups of the mechanics here, and basically a step-by-step what to do in this regard. So as I just showed you, the little circle here is called a cam. And the cam inside it has a hex nut, and the hex nut is 2 millimeter, and so that's what we're going to be adjusting. Now, for if you have more serious issues with your focus, there's an arm that the cam is attached to, and behind that is a screw. And on the M9, it's a flathead screw. On the M10, it's a Phillips head screw. And you basically will turn that to be able to adjust the throw arm accordingly to get your either more focus throw or less focus throw. But for my intents and purposes, I'm going to show you the hex nut, because that's the easier adjustment. And when I say easy, I don't mean you're done. It definitely takes a while. One of the reasons is the hex nut itself is rather tight. So when you adjust it, it's not like turning the focus on your lens as smooth as that. It's kind of a little jerky. So you're most likely going to be over adjusting or under adjusting, and you have to tweak it back and forth a little bit to get it to exactly where you want, which means a lot of test shooting. And luckily this is a digital camera, so therefore it's not, you're not wasting film or anything else as you would be with your older M7s and below. So anyway, you know, this works the same whether it's whether it's the M9, the 240, the M8, and so forth and so on. But anyway, so I'm gonna, you know, show you this here, and you know, of course, you'll need a little hex key. And of course, you don't need a whole set, but you will need the 2mm, which is this one here, in my set anyway, to be able to adjust the cam. And as I said, it basically sits right in the inside the center of the cam. And like I said, little adjustments here and there. I don't want to go tweaking it now because I already adjusted mine to fix it. And again, it takes a while. This is not a 2-minute process. And so it takes some adjusting back and forth, doing a lot of test shooting to get that. Now it depends on how sharp you want it. You know, it might be a good enough, which is kind of my category. You know, I get it to where it's good enough for me because I don't want to spend all day adjusting this thing. So I got it better than it was, which is, like I said, good enough for me. So the 2mm hex key is what you need, and if you have to adjust the focus throw arm, as I said, it's a on the M10 a Phillips head, and again, because of the angle it's on, obviously you can't use a regular straight screwdriver on there, so you'll need something angled. I saw at the store, was it yesterday or day before, Bosch makes a set where the handle, and I don't have it, I'm just describing it to you, where the handle's flat like this, and the screws come down on a 90-degree angle like that, so you can basically work on it that way, which is ideal for this. But I have a Toolsall here, which has a Phillips head here. And this is like a Swiss Army knife kind of thing. So it comes out on an angle like that, so I can use same thing here. I can get into the body of the M10 without any issues here. See, I can get the angle right. To be able to get in there, and I can adjust it accordingly like this. So this is my answer to that. But if I needed to, I would just go out and buy that Bosch tool, because it was well, here in Vietnam anyway, it's like 400,000. So that's what, like $16 or something like that. But anyway, you know, if you're spending, you know, $7,000 or so on a camera, you know, what's 16 bucks? So anyway, it's the tool to do the job. So that is basically what I wanted to show you. But in detail, let me put that down. In detail, the to go left or right, you know, when you're with your hex screw, when you have the screw in the cam, turning to the left, so you turn to the left, is going to fix your front focus, moving the infinity actually closer to you. So again, it depends on which way you need to need to adjust your focus throw, or your infinity focus, I should say. Turning the cam to the right, turning the hex key to the right inside the cam fixes back focus. So if you're focusing, focusing towards yourself, it puts your infinity further from you. So right is infinity is further, left is infinity is closer. Now if you have to adjust your focus throw arm, again, same thing. If you turn, again, assuming this is your screwdriver, in the M10, being a Phillips head, turning the screw to the right lessens your focal throw. To the left, which shortens the arm, but it lengthens the focus throw in that regard. So those are the two ways that you can adjust your rangefinder to fine tune your own focus. And again, it's not something just a quick tweak here and there. If you're lucky, perhaps that is the answer to your problem.
You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky?
And again, that's just pure luck that it fixes the problem, because you may have to tweak quite a bit to get it to where you want. But for one, you save a bunch of money. You don't have to send anything to Europe. You don't have to, not have your camera for all that time. You get the satisfaction of doing something yourself, which is why I do these things. I get quite thrilled with the pat on the back of, hey, good job, look what you did, kind of thing. So that's why I like to do it. I'm a do it yourself kind of guy. But again, these mechanical devices here, are obviously as good as they can be for what they are. Again, it's a mechanical device. It's not like my my Sonys or my Canons, which are computers basically that allow you to take pictures with them. Being mechanical devices, they have their issues. Back in the day, they were the thing. They were the way to take photographs. They're not ideal in this day and age, but they're fun. They're fun. Wow! I equate the same, like I told you in my past videos. It's why I drive a motorcycle instead of driving a car. It's more fun to do that. So, or even more, if I drive a car, I prefer to drive a stick shift as opposed to an automatic. But Leica does the best they can when they're again a mechanical device. They calibrate it with kind of like a happy medium, if you want to look at it that way, because each focal length really has its own preferred focusing calibration. But again, Leica figures from the widest angle to the longest telephoto that we're going to find a calibration that at least works for everything, but it may not be as sharp as adjusting here and there. But that's just the way it is. It's a mechanical device. So the beauty of mechanical devices, though, is the fact that you can work on them. And you may not be a camera tech. I'm not a camera tech. I just figure these things out. Do a lot of reading, but do a lot of trial and error too. See what works for you. And I made my own adjustments. They worked for me. You may get lucky and they'll work for you. They may not work for you if you try it. It may get worse. You may end up having to send the stuff to Germany after all and having them do it. But again, if you do it right, you'll save yourself a bunch of money, save yourself a bunch of time, and the satisfaction of fixing your own little problem. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you about.
Little cheap bastard.
And don't worry about warranties. Tweaking the calibration, you know, on the cam itself. There's no evidence that you actually did that. So, you know, again, it's not going to affect your warranty at all on your camera. So, and you know, worst case scenario, you know, perhaps it's not even your camera. Perhaps it's the lens itself that needs calibration. You know, as I said, anything mechanical, anything that moves, has potential to have problems. So that's all I have for you this week. You know, hopefully it gave you a little insight into something you may or may not already know. Well, next week we'll get back into you know, looking at some lenses again. There's a few up here I haven't talked about yet. Maybe doing some challenges, some 50mm lens challenges, or 85 or 135s or the 35s. You know, 28s. We'll see. You know, who comes out on top of those little challenges. So anyhow, thanks for dropping by. And as usual, I'd like you to help my channel. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. So give me a subscribe and a second subscribe. And again, if you're not listening, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, because you know I love to show off those thumbs up girls. And lastly, my little plug for software. There I go again with software editing. Not editing your software. Photo editing software is you know, what I use. And you know, the only reason I talk about it is because, you know, I give you a link down below where you can save $10 on Luminar or Luminar AI, artificial intelligence. And you know, again, that's what I use. I always suggest that you edit your photos anyway, because even just a little minor tweak here and there can make the world of difference in your final you know, final rendition of the photo, even if it's just cropping. But anyway, it's you know, it's very economical. It's like $67 or so. So if you click the link below, it saves you $10. I make a little bang off that too, whether it's $10 or they send me out some free, I don't know what they call those, plugins or add-ons or something into the program that they usually make you pay $10 for. You get it for free. So it's doing me a favor in that regard, but it's doing you a favor by saving you $10 to buy the thing. And once you own it for life. Who doesn't like that, right? No monthly fees, no yearly fees, no nothing. You just buy it and bang, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. So anyway, it's a great bit of software. Again, that's all I have for you. So follow the doctor's advice and stay safe out there. Wear your mask. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. Stay away from anybody who's coughing or got a fever or anything like that. Don't go around crowded areas. Don't go in elevators with 27 people. And that's pretty much it. So have yourself a great week or a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, I guess, right? Yeah. So this was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott, and brought to you by Modesty Photography. So we'll see you. All right, bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam.